Jannie. So, can you introduce by yourself?
Yes, and my name is Jannie, and I work here at IPC. I have been working here for 11 years. I have been teaching 1 or 2 subjects every term, and then I also do all the PR and communication at IPC, at some events and stuff like that.
So, first question. What is your favorite color and why?
My favorite color. For many years, my favorite color was black. And the reason why my favorite color was black was because you know that black is actually all colors. You know that? And when you combine all colors, it's black. And I really loved that. And then I also loved just wearing black clothes. But nowadays, I think I have changed it a little bit. I think black is getting too dark for me now. When I get older, when I was younger, it was fine. But now I feel like I need a little bit more like light blue or something like that.
What happened to you?
What happened to me with the colors? I had this long journey, I think, where when I had black as my favorite color, I didn't put anything into colors. You know, I knew that colors meant a lot when you do advertising or whatever, but like a favorite color, what's the point? So I was very, let's take black. Black is all colors, easy. I didn't really feel myself enough, so it was an easy choice to say black. But then I started to choose purple for a long time. And maybe purple is actually still a favorite choice of mine, because purple for me is the moon. Purple for me is very feminine. You know, Luna and the purple. So I felt at some point in my life, I started to notice purple. And you know, there is a saying that everyone has like a color without knowing. And in many years, I was sure that my color was purple. And maybe I still think it is. But I like also light blue. I'm drawn to that.
Good.
So you ask what happened. Why did I change? And I think age happened. I got more aware about things in life, not necessarily believing in fate, but more believing in putting meaning into things, do you will. So if you just have your everyday life and you say, oh, it's just a coincidence, and maybe it is, but if you choose to say, maybe it's not a coincidence, maybe I'm on a path, or there is a meaning, it doesn't have to be right, because I don't believe in it scientifically. But I know that putting meaning into things are really good for your mental well-being. And it's really good for feeling a purpose in life. So I started to acknowledge this, like a flow of life, noticing colors, noticing... so it's more about self-awareness.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
What did you love to do as a child?
What did I love to do as a child? What did I love to do as a child? I have always loved animals and nature. So I have always been a lot outside, you know, and when I was a child we didn't have a lot of TV and screen. So we had to do something else, and I grew up with my parents, and they are quite young when they had me and my sister. So a lot of the times we were babysitting. My grandparents, they were babysitting us, and they lived in a small self-sufficient farm. So we were there a lot, and that meant they didn't play with us. They had a busy life farming, and so you were just outside in the nature a lot. And I really loved that, and I felt very connected also to animals, and I have always loved animals, and so taking care of animals, but also just playing with them, you know, petting them. So I think animals and nature.
When you think of your education, how do you feel?
Good question. So, do you mean my upper education, up in secondary education, or do you mean when I was a child? Anyway, okay. All of them. I think when I think of my education as a child, I feel now very lucky. I think I love being in school, and I love to be with other kids, and I always felt that the vacation were too long. I love being there, and I love to be a part of projects and learn. So when it comes to my childhood and education, I feel very, very lucky. But when I got older, I also feel very lucky in some ways, but I also feel more confused, because then you have to choose, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up? All of a sudden it's a lot of stress. What do I want to be? It's a big decision. And I know that a lot of people, as young students, they also suffer from anxiety from this. And I just follow my heart. So I chose anthropology, and I loved it. I was so interested. But I found out when I was finishing my education, I didn't want to work as an anthropologist. And I think that was the first time in my life where I didn't just follow my intuition. I followed what I felt was nice and good and fun and meaningful. And then all of a sudden it didn't really work out, because I didn't want to work. And now I took the education, so now I was an anthropologist. But I didn't want to work as an anthropologist. So I was very confused. What should I do? And I think that's the first time in my life, when coming to thinking about education, that reality hits me. You know, I cannot just do what I feel exciting. You know, what do you want to work with in your everyday life? What life do you want as an adult? For example, if you want to be a chef, then you have to bear in mind, many chefs' work is in evenings and weekends. So if you choose that work, then you also have to maintain a life where you work when everybody else is off. And maybe even though you love cooking, that's not the life you want. And I think that was the first time in my life where it hits me. Oh my God, you are just doing what you find interesting, but is that supporting the life that you want? Not necessarily. But then I took a second master degree in journalism, because I knew that would be more locally instead of worldly, so in a way, so I could have a family and stay in Denmark, because that's what I wanted.
How do you think people should feel in a classroom?
Safe. Safe. If you're not safe, you don't dare to think out of the box. You just want to say the right thing. And then you don't learn, and then the teacher don't learn, and then your classmates don't learn. And I feel like a classroom is a classroom of learning together. So if you're not safe, you don't dare to ask the questions. And if they're not asked, nothing comes out. So for me, education should support evolution. So education is a way to educate people, supporting the society we want, right? And I love to have a society where you question things, where you say, okay, we did that for decades. Is that still the right way to go? Yes or no? We don't know. So asking questions, thinking about it, reflecting about life, reflecting about everything is something you should do in your life, And if you don't learn how to do it in the classroom, where should you learn it? And if you don't feel safe, you can feel safe with your teacher, but you can also feel safe with your classmates. If your classmates, you're afraid of them teasing you or laughing then you don't ask. Or if your teacher is very harsh. So the teacher has a responsibility to make the classroom feel safe.
How about trust? So you said in your class, explain Denmark. So every time you say trust, right? In Denmark
trust.
society, so
Trust and safety and everything like that. Yeah.
What is the point of education?
A very deep question as well, because I think on a philosophical level, I think the point of education is to develop the mind. We are the only species on the planet which can think more than survive. And I think education is the point of it almost. Because if you are not educated, you can only learn from your small society. Education takes you further. So you can learn more. The world can expand through education. So for me, it's very important. For example, just a point, my son, he's 10 years old, and he said the other day, why do I have to learn English, right? And I said, I understand it's difficult. But for me now, when I want to listen to a podcast, in any subject, I can just listen to any subject almost, because I know I can listen in English. If you can only listen in Danish, it's so narrow, because we're not a big country, So it's a way of explaining. If you know a language and you learn, the world opens up. Yeah, so I think that's really, really important. And I think something also very important to that question is, what is the point of education? Because if you look at it not philosophically but structural, then you see education supports the structure you want. So if society, if the state of Denmark, they want to have pupils thinking out of the box, the education system should support that. If the state wants to have people living in the country doing what they are told, then education supports that. So you can actually, by looking at education systems, you can analyze how states want the world or the country.
What makes your heart sing? What makes your heart happy?
Yeah, many things. Many things. I think I would say actually meditation. The reason why I say that is because if I don't have calm, I don't have presence. And if I don't have presence, I don't enjoy the things that makes my heart sing. So for example, if my children, they play together or they ask me silly questions, or that makes my heart sing. But only if I'm present. If I'm busy, I need to cook, I need to do, then I just say, not right now. And I'm not there. So for me, I can feel if I'm in a time of my life where I do not meditate for a period, my mind shifts and I'm not very present. So when I meditate, I make sure to see all the moments where my heart sings.
How often do you meditate?
Every day.
Every morning?
It doesn't have to be morning, around, it can be any time of the day. I just need to do it once a day. And I only do it for 20 minutes. Otherwise I cannot. So 20 minutes a day. And sometimes I skip a day, but it doesn't feel good.
I see. I understand. So last question. How has IPC changed, affected you?
In so many ways. Before coming to IPC, I worked in the TV industry. I made television, as a journalist. And when you work as a journalist doing television, everything goes so fast. Oh, it has to go fast. You have to be efficient. You have to be more, you know? Work for long hours. Be very resilient, and you know? And when I came to IPC, I thought that was the success. So for example, I could say at that time to the management, I could say, I did this and this and this and this so fast. And I could sense they didn't care. And in the beginning, I felt like they don't care about me. They don't care about my job. But then I found out efficiency, resilience, moving fast, that's not something that IPC supports. IPC wants to go deep, slowly, making things go nice and honest and real, not fast and, you know. So what I was used to in my job didn't really count here. And it took me a long time to understand how it works here, because I think it's very different. And when I talk to my friends about their jobs, I can still hear even linguistic, even the words they use. They said, I can hear that what they support is different from IPC. And that's also why I have been here so long, because I really believe in these things that IPC stands for. I really do. And I feel that working somewhere where everything is just about more money or faster or better, like, I couldn't do it, I think. So it changed my way of life, actually.
So nice. So great. So today was Jannie.
Yeah.